A huge scandal broke involving the NBA and literally the mafia, La Cosa Nostra. On October 23rd, Kash Patel, the DOJ, and the FBI, they announced the arrest of NBA player Terry Rozier, who plays for the Miami Heat. He has since been placed on leave. And also the Trailblazers head coach, Chauncey Billups, also placed on leave, as well as a slew, at least 31 other defendants here. Some are allegedly part of the mafia. Some are not. They are all named on these indictments, which I'll get to in a minute, as well as the press conference. But these are pretty serious charges: wire fraud, money laundering. Those are 20 years apiece. Allegedly, what the DOJ is claiming through these indictments are that Chauncey Billups, just let's talk about his case right there. His case involves an illegal gambling operation that is connected to the mob. So allegedly, Chauncey Billups played this role as a face card where basically he would help convince high rollers to participate in these games, and the games were actually rigged. Card shufflers were used that were rigged. Glasses that helped you cheat, those were used. I mean, there were X-ray poker tables, and these are all part of the indictment. What we can see, it's completely crazy. Terry Rozier, he was arrested on what I guess you could say are prop bet patterns or suspicious prop bet patterns, where he basically would tip people off if he knew what was going to happen during a game. He would purposely throw a game. Something that was cited in a lot of different articles, as well as the indictment, is a 2023 game where he left the game early with a foot injury, and he allegedly told sports betting people what was And then Terry Rozier, his arrest was tied to suspicious prop bet patterns, where basically he would tip people off. Basically, if he was going to throw a game, if he knew another player was going to throw a game, and these charges and these And Terry Rozier, his arrest was tied to suspicious prop bet patterns, which is basically, he knew when he was going to throw a game, he would disclose this information, knowing that he himself would get a piece of money from whoever placed this bet, knowing that he was going to throw a game, and so on. And they, in the indictment, they cite a lot of different games, a lot of different dates, and a lot of different monetary figures. And they're not small. I mean, the illegal gambling operation, the underground illegal gambling operation tied to the mob and to Billups, allegedly, I mean, it was over $7 million in fraud. So again, not small amounts here. The actual charges that each man is facing, and again, it's more than just these two, but these are the big names here. Terry Rozier, count 1, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Count 2, conspiracy to commit money laundering. Count 3, wire fraud. Count 4, aiding and abetting. And Chauncey Billups, count 1, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Count 2, operating an illegal gambling business. Count 3, conspiracy to commit money laundering. And count 4, the Hobbs Act conspiracy, which relates to extortion. And another Hobbs Act conspiracy that relates to robbery. And these are tied to, I guess, the co-defendants using threats or force to collect gambling debts and sort of protect this operation. I have a feeling that, Billups can probably get some of these dismissed if he wasn't present at some of these games. I mean, I'm speculating, but yeah, who knows? But they were each of these men, they were in federal court in the cities they were arrested. So they were not in New York, in the Eastern District of New York, where this case is being prosecuted. The press conference was held in Brooklyn, but Billups showed up at a Portland federal court and Rozier showed up at an Orlando federal court. And the prosecutors, the federal prosecutors, are actually trying to hold many of the members of the mob in custody without bail because some of them have a criminal past. They showed a lot of text messages that were threatening and showed violence. So they want these members of the mob to stay behind bars until the trial. They are not insisting that Billups and Rozier do anything of the sort. And both of them were released today after they appeared in court. So let's play part of the press conference. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, just a touch. Okay. It won't be too fast, just 1.3.
Today, we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Cosa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chaucey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Cosa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery across a multi-year investigation. And we could not have done it without our interagency partners that are before us today. The NYPD, HSI, and teams of law enforcement officials from around the country made this day possible. It takes a team to bring this kind of justice, sweeping justice, into the halls of the United States courtrooms, where our brave United States attorney has led this prosecution. It takes courageous prosecutors to stand before you and say, we will not allow this kind of illicit activity to happen, not only at the national sporting level, but also where it hides in La Cosa Nostra. And when these two collided together, they perpetrated a fraud that is historic in terms of not just money, but the scheme and the deceit that they utilize to steal and swindle people from money, to include crypto fraud. This is an operation that showcases to you that under President Trump's administration, there is no room for any type of criminal behavior, be it on the world's largest stage or in the back rooms of tiny parlors where card games are being played. We are proud to stand here today with the men and women of the FBI and this legal team. And to the United States Attorney, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time to display the work that the media is about to hear about today in detail. As I said, it does take courageous prosecutors, but it takes a courageous United States Attorney to bring this case, because we are going to take heat for it. But we don't shy away in this administration. We don't say no. What we do is we bring the results across the...
Okay, so you guys get it. I don't know why he's saying they're going to take heat for it, but yeah. So for Billups and for the mob, they really are centering these games around two different games in Manhattan. They called one the Washington Place game and one the Lexington Avenue game. So there are different counts on the indictment referring to those. And then as far as Rozier goes, something that I find interesting is that there is a co-conspirator number 8 on the indictment, and that is so obviously Chaucey Billups. And I am going to show you a tweet that I put out with the screenshots of the indictment, so you can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about. You know what? I'll just share this tab. And also these are photos. These are photos from the indictment. or actually this is from, I think this is from the detention letter, excuse me. But as you can see, that is the card shuffler that, wow, that was used for cheating. This was an image of the computer program showing information transmitted from the rigged shuffling machine from one of the defendant's iCloud accounts. This is an X-ray poker table. I have never seen one of these before. Yeah, so you could, gosh, you can see at the bottom, all of the cards. And then these were just text messages between a bunch of the defendants. But what I was going to show you in particular was this right here. So co-conspirator number 8, this is what's listed under other individuals. He is not named. There could be a superseding indictment that names him on this, Billups, but it basically says co-conspirator 8, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury, was a resident of Oregon. Billups. Co-conspirator 8 was an NBA player from approximately 1997 through 2014 and an NBA coach since at least 2021. And then it goes into what the allegations are against him. They basically said that the Portland Trail Blazers, who he coached, played the Chicago Bulls on March 24th, 2023. And basically it says prior to the game, the Trail Blazers record was 32-40, and the team was out of playoff contention with only 10 games remaining in the season. Prior to this game, co-conspirator 8 told one of the defendants, Eric Ernest, that the Trailblazers were going to be tanking, obviously losing on purpose to increase their odds of getting a better draft pick in the upcoming NBA draft. So he told this to Ernest before the news was publicly announced that several of the Trailblazers' best players, including player number 1, an individual whose identity is known to the grand jury. Player number 1, that's just someone from Florida from the NBA. That's all it says. I don't know who it is. But they said, yeah, they'd be tanking, and player 1 would not be playing. And this was not available to the public, including the betting companies, but they made a pretty penny. So allegedly. I mean, there is so much here. And I plan on following this and covering this, you know, as much as I possibly can, especially in person as well. So I am showing that Rozier is due in Brooklyn at the Eastern District in December. I don't know about Billups yet, so wait and see. And head to lamag.com for all of the updates and all of our stories on this case, because it is not going away. This is huge. All right, guys, thanks for watching LA Mag, scandals, pop culture, and crime news of the day. I'm Lauren.